Welcome, Devjani. Thank you for joining us today and for taking the time. My first question to you, you have been a true path breaker, and it is such a pleasure to have you here with us today. Can you tell us about your career journey from being the first woman to lead Intel India and the first woman to lead NASSCOM?
Sure. Before that, Kajal, thank you to you and Neha for having me here. I hear that there are a lot of women who are interested in this platform and who are joining in. And what interests me the most is these are all women who are passionate about their career, and they wanna make a difference. They wanna build their own pathways, and there is nothing more inspiring in this world um, than a woman who's committed to a cause, be it her family, be it her career, whatever. So kudos to all of you. It is especially difficult for us to say that we wanted both, and we want everything in life. And I think for those of us who make that choice, hats off to you all. So um, you asked about my career. Well, gonna hit around 25 years of it if I'm not wrong sometime soon, or maybe I already have. I've forgotten. I've stopped counting. I was having so much fun. But if I have to look back at the entire journey, and I'm sure even if I look forward at what's coming, and if I have to sum up my career has been about being comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's my career. As a woman who decided to join the tech industry in the 90s, when there were very few women, especially in India, in the industry, as a person with an economics background who decided to join the tech industry without being an engineer, which was unheard of pretty much in those days, and then falling in love with technology to the extent that I wanted to be the best in what I do. Um, and having to and you know the having to pretty much spend every waking hour and still spend a lot of my time just learning to ensure that I can be the best. I can be the best in an industry which is completely out of my comfort zone. I think that fire is what keeps me going even today. Even today, I cannot take anything for granted. I am very acutely aware of uh, the gaps, the strengths, and the weaknesses. And what I focus on is the strength, and my biggest strength is the ability to learn, and that has become sort of my superpower, if you may call it, to navigate through the career and also ensure that I did achieve my dream of rising to the top in the technology industry in a very high tech company. Um, Pretty much just focused on hard work, learning, commitment, people. Surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with people who are willing to teach, who are willing to collaborate. I think it's so important to do that. And I'm not just talking about people who are senior to you, mentors. I'm also talking about your team. I mean, I ensure that every person in my team is an expert, and an expert in areas that I am not, because there's no point in having two experts in the same area. So I know again my strengths, and I am sure that everyone in my team brings in skills and expertise that I do not have. And that's the best way for the team to function. So, yeah, Kajal, I think that pretty much sums up my career. It's been about, I know what brings out the best in me is throw me into a very uncomfortable situation. If you throw me, I'm so used to it now, you throw me into a situation that I'm comfortable in, and I will give you 50% of what I can give. And you throw me in a situation that I'm uncomfortable in, and I'll give you 150%.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Lovely, Devjani. I mean, And there couldn't be a louder message at a time like this, right? For us to be getting used to what we're not expecting and the uncomfortable. Thank you.
Yeah, I was joking that day. I said my entire career has actually prepped me for this COVID moment because the pandemic is forcing us to be very uncomfortable, and the only way we can survive it is by slowly becoming comfortable with all the variables, with all the discomfort around us. So I was joking with someone that and I'm sure this is the same for so many women. We all have to deal with a lot of discomfort in our lives. We
Yeah.
all have to figure out how to get comfortable in these situations. I think that's why I say women are so good at crisis management. It's something that you know I don't think it's forced or not, but it happens to us very naturally.
Yeah, absolutely, Debjani. Couldn't agree more. So my second question is, as the president of NASCOM, you do have a bird's eye view into the current industry landscape and the future of jobs. How do you see the landscape of job opportunities in India post-COVID?
But COVID or no, I think COVID is only accelerating what was happening. COVID is not changing the landscape. COVID is accelerating the change. With or without COVID, the job landscape of the future is extremely different from the job landscape of today. In fact, the one thing I do know for sure is that your skills, whatever skills you have today, will not cut it for you, say 5 years down the line. And I'm not even talking about 30 years. I'm not even talking about 10 years. I'm 5 years down the line, or maybe even less. The current skills are not going to cut it for you. The biggest thing that the industry looks for when we hire people, we had recently done a very interesting survey of the top employers in India to see what are they looking for. The most important thing companies are looking for is a trainable mindset. Do you have the ability to unlearn what you have learned, and do you have the ability to learn new things, and how fast can you learn? That's the biggest requirement for hiring today, right? And very few of us unfortunately show that mindset, even if we have it, because we are so tuned in our education system to show that we know it all. We are the experts. So we go in projecting expertise, and trust me, nothing scares an employer more than that. You have to go in projecting a hunger to learn. You have to go in and show that, okay, today I'm doing this, but throw a different problem at me and I'm happy to learn. In those 30 minutes of your interview, show your ability to solve a problem and learn new skills and practice how to do that. That's the most critical piece that we are looking for today and the industry is looking for today. Jobs are not going away, but jobs are getting displaced. The type of jobs is changing completely. Given the new technologies that we have and the new jobs that they're creating, I think net, we will actually have more jobs in hand than we've had in the past. But the skills that these jobs will require is extremely different from what today's jobs require. So and our schools are not going to prepare for you for it. Our colleges are unfortunately not going to prepare you for it. So the question you have is, how do you prepare yourself? This has to be a self-learning initiative. And my one advice to everyone, you know, just prepare yourself to learn. If you can walk in and show curiosity, if you can walk in and show hunger, if you can walk in and show that you're passionate to learn new things, you become a desirable talent.
Yeah.
You go in and say, I know it all. I'm the best in my field and I am super at what I do. That's it. The door's closed for you. So,
Yeah.
it's a huge change in mindset that's needed.
Yeah. Sounds great, Debjani. And yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. In a world that is changing so fast, and not just because of course, definitely largely because of technology. We definitely need to have those skill sets that we can fall back on, other than our current ones. That brings me to my third question, Debjani. Do you think there are certain attributes that women have that can help them get a leg up in grabbing these opportunities?
I think it boils down to it's very individual. I hate generalizing it here, but I think it boils down to your individual ability um, to learn in this ever changing world. It boils down to your ability to keep up with the changes. Whether you're a woman or a man, honestly, gender has no role to play. Gender really has no role to play. It's up to us now. How quickly can we adapt to changes? How good are we in handling variables, in handling what we are not comfortable with, in handling what we do not know? I think it sort of boils down to these skills. How great are we in communicating what we do know, our insights? I'll give you an example. Data science is a very talked about field, right? It's an area that every company is trying to hire. Data scientists are in huge shortage. The world needs good data scientists. Do you know that one of the key skills for a data scientist is storytelling? It's
Wow.
so gone are the days when a data scientist or a tech person could sit in a room and build codes or write codes and not be bothered about anything else. Today, in today's virtual world, a data scientist has to communicate the insights, has to communicate the story that the data is telling, and that's one of the most critical requirements of that role. So, given the changes, when I look back in history, women have always been shortchanged because we supposedly had what the world called soft skills, right? And the soft skills were seen as weakness. The soft skills were, um, when I look at them today as to what the hell were these soft skills, what were these soft skills? We were good in communication. We were good in working with people. We were good in managing crisis. A lot of these things, well, people thought were soft skills. The tables have completely changed. Today, these skills, thankfully, are now called professional skills. And these professional skills is what is in huge demand. This is what the world wants. So, yes, we do have, I think, a little bit of an advantage because these are things we are naturally good at. But if we do not work hard, if we do not get ourselves trained on the latest skills trends that we see, unfortunately, that advantage is not going to pay off.
Thank you, Debjani. Thank you for that. That brings me to my fourth question, which is today we have women joining us who are either starting, restarting, or rising in their careers. And of course, they're a large part of our audience as well. So, what would your advice be to these women in the audience?
For restarting their careers?
Well, we do have women who are starting, restarting, and rising. That comprises
Right,
the entire
right,
audience we have today.
right. I think the first advice I have for any woman, any career woman who talks to me is have an ambition. I am just flabbergasted with women who come and tell me, I am good with what I'm doing. You can be good with what you're doing, but have an ambition to be the best with what you're doing. Don't just be happy being good. I think the first thing to every woman is ambition is not a bad word. Repeat that after me 100 times. Ambition does not make you a bad woman. Ambition does not say that you have a bad character. Ambition is bloody good, and it is the only way we can rise in our career. So, the first thing I will say is if you're serious about your career, write down your ambition on a piece of paper today. Today. right? If you do one thing after my talk, if my talk in any way inspires you, write down your ambition. What do you want to be? Forget 5 years, forget 10 years. What do you want to be by the end of this year? What do you want to be? Have a 30, 60, 90-day plan framework. What do you want to be by end of this year? What do you want to be by end of next year? What do you want to be at the end of the third year? Write that down today. Put it up in a place where you can see it daily, so that it becomes a reminder that this is where I want to go. And then build your roadmap, then build your journey based on that. Every decision you make has to, either you change your ambition, which is perfectly fine. At some point you may just figure out there's something bigger out there that you want to go for. Great, I'm absolutely okay with that. But if you have not changed your ambition, every decision, career decision you make, whether to take a certain job, whether to leave a company, join a company, do something different, it has to ensure that it takes you one step forward towards your goal. If it doesn't, it's a waste of your time. And it's a waste of your energy, it's a waste of your commitment. And time is one thing we do not have enough of. So the one thing I am very, very protective about is my time, because we've so little of it.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, please have an ambition, own it, own your ambition. Make sure people know. That's what I'm saying. Write it and put it out there. From the time I started my career, in fact, in my interview, I was asked, my first interview, I was asked by the interviewer, what is it that you want to do? Where do you see yourself in the next 15 years? And I said, if I have to be in this company for the next 15 years, I have to be at the top. Otherwise, it's a waste of time for me. I have to be at the top. I'm super ambitious. So I see myself as heading India for this company. And I did it. I did it in around 13 years. I didn't even take 15 years because I was so focused on it. Every career decision I made was with keeping that in mind. I was so focused on it. So it's extremely important to own your ambition and to ensure that the people in your network, your manager, your mentors, your sponsors, know what your ambition is. No one reads your mind. No matter how good your manager is, they cannot read your mind. So you have to tell them that this is what I want. And 9 out of 10 people will help you achieve that goal, provided you've picked the right people in your stakeholder map. I'm a big fan of what I call a stakeholder map. I always look at who are the people who can influence my journey. And then I build out a stakeholder map. Who are the people in the closest circle that will have the biggest influence? Then who are the people in the outer circle? And then I'll keep building the circles and keep building the stakeholders and identify the role that the stakeholders will play in my journey, so that I can engage with them. If I know that this person is going to be super critical because this person is going to teach me about something that I do not know, which is so important for my goal, I will ensure that that person knows that and the person knows what my goals are. So build a stakeholder map. Ensure you communicate these are people who you trust and who care for you, who have the time to give you. Build, make sure they know about your ambition. And then the third piece of the puzzle is, if you want to have a career, please plan to be the best at it. Otherwise, it's no fun. It's absolutely no fun. Whether you become the best or not, that doesn't matter. But you have to try. You have to absolutely try. If you're an HR professional, be the best HR professional out there, or try to be, want to be the best HR professional out there, want to be the best data scientist out there. So if you have to be the best at something, you really have to work hard. And I guess that's the secret sauce. How hard are you willing to work? Are you willing to work harder than your competition? As simple as that. And if the answer is yes, good on you. If the answer is no, You need to look in the mirror and have a frank chat with yourself.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that, Dibjani. We do have questions that have come in, and I'm going to quickly jump to them. We have one from Hina Kargeti, who asks, in the
What was the
pandemic
name?
situation, Hina Kargeti.
Hina, okay.
In the pandemic situation where recession has also hit, how many job opportunities do you think are available? Is there an impact or a boon on any particular field or industry?
So, Hina, I'll talk about the tech industry. And in the tech industry, talent is our biggest advantage. Um, Everyone has access to technology. It's the talent that we build allows us to differentiate from our competition. So talent becomes extremely crucial in the tech industry. And frankly, I think that's true for most industries, where whether a pandemic or not, we cannot let go of the key talent. So the question I have for you is, when you look at your value add to the tech company, if you look at your value add to your team, are you a good to have person, or are you an essential person? I think that's an important question all of us have to answer. Are we good to have? Can somebody else come in and quickly do our job cheaper, faster, better? Or are we essential to have? Because we are bringing in skills which somebody else cannot have or cannot bring in. And I think it's extremely important to figure out, how do you move from a good to have kind of a talent to an essential talent? Because yes, um, while jobs will not go away, but the kind of jobs are changing. And what companies want are people who are essential to have and who can be retrained. So it's extremely important, those two things. One is, based on your current skills, are you essential or are you not? Is there something you do? And that something you do can be anything that's important for the company. Your ability to work with stakeholders is much better than anyone else. And that's why I keep saying, try to be best at something. It's very important. Otherwise, yes, you are replaceable. But if you are best at something, then it becomes more and more difficult to replace you. So pick that something that becomes um, your biggest strength. My biggest strength was, um, even today, if there is something new to be learned, I will learn it faster than anyone else, and I say that with full confidence. I will, and I will ensure I do it. And my ability to work with people, this is what differentiates me. So what differentiates you? Jobs will come and go. I don't think we can worry about that. What you have to worry about is what you can control. What you can control is your own skill sets. So what differentiates you? How do you sell that differentiation? And is your differentiation something that the company sees as essential or not? Is the question I will ask everybody to sit down and have a good think through.
The question that we have coming in is from Sudakshini, and she's asking about the glass ceiling, where she says, "Do you believe in the glass ceiling? Do you have any advice for those who want to reach the top?"
If I believed in the glass ceiling, things would be very different. Even if it does exist, it's made of glass, and glass can be easily broken. So stop worrying about the glass ceiling. Just toughen up, wear some good gloves, or use your high heels. High heels are great at breaking glass. Use the heels to shatter the glass. Stop worrying about ceilings and what exists. It's a waste of your time. Again, focus inwards. Focus on yourself. Do you have the ambition to go forward? Is your ambition strong enough so that you will withstand the challenges that come your way? And challenges don't just come for women. Challenges come for men, challenges come for women. Do you have it in you to fight? Are you a fighter? If you are a fighter, no ceiling can stop you. If you're not a fighter, that's a different story.
Fantastic.
And I love fighters.
That's a good time to use your high heels. I absolutely agree. Onward to Kajal.
Absolutely, man. I love my heels. They just kick and it breaks everything that's in the way. That's all it takes.
Awesome. Thanks, Neha, for jumping in. well, we do live in a virtual world, and it has both its, the good and bad, and that's what got me disconnected. But I'm back. We do have a question from Surovi Dupar who says, Debjani, you mentioned about being comfortable with the uncomfortable. What skills do you think help us be prepared for dealing with the uncomfortable?
Great question. Brilliant question. I'll give you my example. See, when I joined Intel as a non-engineer and as a pretty much a young kid at that point in time, within the first few weeks, I was very, very uncomfortable and scared because I knew that I had joined a company where I was sticking out like a sore thumb. Every room I walked into was filled with engineers and men. So I was really sticking out like a sore thumb, and this was true of all tech companies at that point. So I had started having doubts, and as I said, I've always been very ambitious. My parents have brought me up to believe that I'm the best thing possible. So you know so I have always been very ambitious, and I've always known that I have to do good things, because that's how I grew up. I grew up believing I could do anything that I wanted to do. So I started having doubts, and I remember I was in US, and I was sitting in the cafeteria and thinking that maybe I made the wrong choice. Maybe I need to leave and figure out another pathway. And I bumped into a very senior person at Intel who became a mentor, and we were having coffee. And I remember, they say that life changes over a cup of coffee. Absolutely true in my case. So we were having coffee, and he asked me, how you doing? And I said, not so good, because I actually love the company. I love what I see, but you know what? I think I made the wrong choice. I think I will be once I go back to India, I will have to leave because I stick out like a sore thumb. I'm like a fish out of water. Everyone around me is different. And he said something which completely changed my life. He said, Debjani, never forget that when you are the one that's different in a room, everyone in the room is curious about you. They want to know how you got there. So you have two choices. One is you can say, I totally don't want all this attention, and you can duck under the table. Or you can grab that attention, and provided, of course, that you have worked hard, you have built your point of view, you have good subject expertise matter, you can grab that attention to be heard like nobody else in that room. Because when you speak, they will listen because you're different. And I think that changed my life because it made me realize that what I used to see as my weakness was actually my biggest strength, my difference. And once you accept your difference, once you accept the fact that not only am I different, but thank God I'm different. Thank God I'm the only woman in the room. Thank God. I hope it doesn't stay that way too long, but while it stays, enjoy it. Don't be worried about it. Don't be scared about it. Enjoy it. You are the unique one, right?
Yeah.
So the moment you learn to embrace that difference, you start feeling comfortable. You start feeling comfortable in these kind of situations, the uncomfortable situations. And I think that was my biggest takeaway, that just accepting your difference, knowing that hard work can accomplish anything. You can learn anything. If I have taught myself about silicon technology, you can learn anything. It's just knowing that learning gives you the greatest power, the power of knowledge. And all you need is a bit of hard work and commitment. I think that's what I would say paid off.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Debjani. Thank you for that fantastic discourse. So many insights in there for all of us. Uh, if I were to, of course, I just, kept noting down everything that you were saying, but if I were to sum it up, then for me, I would say the two most amazing things to take away, of course, was being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And well, I'm putting this out there to the women because this was the highlight where Debjani said, go back and write down your ambition on a piece of paper today. What do you want to be by the end of this year, by the end of next year, in the next 5 years? And have that ambition and own it. So thank you, Debjani, once again for taking the time to do this. And we had lots to take away from your session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kajal, and thanks everyone who logged in. Just keep doing what you guys are doing. We are the ones who are fighting and creating the way for the next few generations. So we have a tremendously important role to play. And let's make sure we don't let down the generation that's going to follow us. Let's make sure we make them proud. Thank you.